Hi everybody and welcome. I'm Dom.
And I'm Pete, and we are just about to board Iona for a 7 nights Norwegian Fjords cruise. So come and join us. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hi guys, so when you arrive at the terminal, you'll drop off your luggage in one of the cabin holes here, and then they'll be in your room.
Okay, so P&O will give you a check-in time where you need to arrive at the ship. Best thing is to do is to not get here early because sometimes they won't let you in. However, today, luckily, they're letting us in, so which is all good. 45 minutes early, which is good. But yeah, P&O do advise, do not come here before your check-in time.
Yes, so let's get checked in now. So we just got through security and we're going on board now. We can't record inside security, but it's just like an airport. They will scan your bags and you go through a metal detector.
Okay, so you know when you're on a cruise, when you're going through the glass bridges like this. We're almost there. Almost. It's a beautiful day here in Southampton.
The sun is shining.
The sun is shining.
So we made it on board and we're going to go upstairs to Coral for our muster station.
Yeah.
The muster station is the location you will attend if there is an emergency. As you enter the ship, a crew member will direct you, and once there, they will scan your boarding pass. You'll finalise this by watching a video in your cabin later. The cabin was not ready yet, so we headed to Taste 360 for a spot of lunch. After lunch, we headed to our cabin and unpacked. We didn't film that, but we did have a mooch around the ship before it was time for sail away. The port was busy with a number of cruise ships in, and we were the first to leave. The sun was shining and we headed to deck 8 to wave off Southampton. As we were leaving, we sailed past P&O's Arcadia. It was great to see and hear everyone cheering and waving between the ships. The captains even got involved using the ship's horns. As the weather was so beautiful, we stayed out on deck enjoying the views. We passed Fawley Oil Refinery towards the Isle of Wight and amazing views over towards Portsmouth and the Spinnaker Tower in the distance. Bye bye England, let's stop Norway.
Hi everybody, we're back in the cabin now. So we've just been watching the sail away out of Southampton, and today the weather was absolutely glorious, as you can see in the videos that I'm probably showing you right now.
Sunshine.
Yes, so it's been pretty good. We had lunch early. up at 360. I tried lasagna, which actually was really different, very spicy lasagna, but it was really, really nice. Pete had a cold pizza.
I did.
So I don't know what they're doing with their pizza, but they need to improve on their pizza. But yeah. You know, so it's been a pretty chilled day. Our bags were here at the cabin when we arrived, which is really, really good. We didn't even need to wait, so we were able to unpack. This time round we are in an inside cabin, as like this whole trip was very last minute, so we didn't really have any choice on where we were, but we are on deck 15. We are in one of the square cabins, but we have a sofa in this one, which is a little bit different, so we're making full use of the extra space, which is nice.
There's going to be a cabin tour, so somewhere on the screen you'll see it now, so have a click on that if you're interested in what this cabin looks like.
So they changed the entertainment for tonight, didn't they, or something like that? It
Tomorrow's
was for tomorrow. It says that, I don't know what's going on, but they've obviously had last minute changes with people.
The same with the limelight as well.
Same with limelight, it's a completely different person. So but yeah, tonight we have booked in at the Olive Grove, which is actually one of our favourite restaurants on Iona. Completely different than Arvia from what we found last time, but we'll tell you again if it's still as good as what we remember it when we first went on Iona. But yeah,
just have a couple of drinks in the cabin, and then we'll go off to the Olive Grove, so we'll show you what that's like.
The Olive Grove is a Mediterranean restaurant located on deck 8. A lot of the dishes are included with your cruise fare, with a few dishes having a small additional cost. We went for the Mediterranean trio to share as a starter, which consisted of halloumi, calamari and some croquettes, with our mains being peri peri chicken and a margherita pizza. These were all delicious and we would definitely recommend. For desserts, we had tiramisu and the Sicilian lemon tart, which again were amazing. A whole meal did not have any additional costs, so this was included within our cruise fare.
So that meal was really, really good at the Olive Grove, and we loved it. It was so much better than Arvia in our opinion.
100%. 100%.
We much prefer it on Iona. We are going to head back to the cabin because it's been a long day. We got up really early this morning, so we're tired. So we're going to go back.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day today. We are up in the North Sea. We had a really nice night's sleep. Which is perfect as always. The Pearl restaurant opens at 8 o'clock. It's about 7:30 now, so we are going to go and head for breakfast very shortly. But as the sun is shining, we've gone for a little walk around first of all, haven't we?
Yeah. And now we're going to have some eggs Benedict.
Oh yes.
For breakfast, we always tend to head to the main dining room. This is always something P&O do well. We prefer to relax and have great service and food instead of the hustle and bustle of the buffet. We can then usually be found at Vistas grabbing a Costa coffee, and before you point it out, we know you get free coffees during breakfast, which are very nice, but we were being coffee snobs and went to Costa to take to Ocean Studios Onboard Cinema, where we watched The Colour Purple. It was a great movie and well worth a watch if you get the opportunity. At lunch we chilled out for a few hours in the Crow's Nest, taking in the views of the North Sea, before heading down to the Headliners Theatre to watch Wavelength, an interactive game show, which was great fun. Guests can sign up in pairs beforehand to take part in the game show. The pairs then have to answer questions to see if they answer the same, therefore being on each other's wavelength. Later on in the afternoon we headed to our favourite place, the Sunset Bar, to get some cocktails and enjoy the sunshine with views over the wake of the ship.
We're in the clubhouse and I'm just about to win at bingo. Let's do it.
Bingo tickets can be purchased in the clubhouse before the game or beforehand in the casino. There are various options you can choose when buying tickets such as combos. We went for the basic ticket for one person, which was around £20 to £25, I can't quite remember the exact price. After an unsuccessful game of bingo, a quick change and freshen up, we visited the Keel and Cow for dinner. This is our absolute favourite place to eat on board. It is an additional cost per item here, but the prices are very reasonable and the food is 10 out of 10. Really worth booking here at least once for dinner. We finished the evening on deck 8 watching the sunset over the North Sea. We have never seen the North Sea this flat and it was beautiful end to the day. We headed back to the cabin for an early night as we wanted to be up nice and early the next day when we arrive in our first Norwegian port.
Good morning from beautiful Norway.
We're sailing into Stavanger as we speak.
Stavanger is the oil capital of Norway and was the jumping off platform for their oil industry back in the late 60s. Since then it's become a popular cruise port and destination for travellers visiting the country. It is also the gateway to Pulpit Rock and the Fjord excursions, which are available to book beforehand. As we continued our sail into Stavanger, we thought we'd take an opportunity to hide some cruising ducks. If you want to find out more information about cruising ducks, what they are and how it works, head over to our YouTube channel where we have a video explaining it all.
We've had a little bit of a watch of the sailing. We're going to go and have some breakfast now in the main dining room.
So we've arrived in Stavanger. Today we are not doing any tours, but there's loads of shore experiences you can book via P&O. Really easy to get off the ship. All you have to do is head down to the right deck. Today was deck 3. Scan your cruise card to get out, and then you're out and ready to explore.
If you have an excursion booked, your meeting point information will be on the ticket. If you are doing a Fjord cruise, it will usually include a short walk to the aft of the ship where the boats are waiting. We decided to have a little explore around the shops where we stumbled upon the Valberg Tower. This tower began construction in 1850 and was used by the city's watchmen. Their duty was to look out for fires and other disturbances within the city. We thought we'd give it a go and climb the tower. There was a small charge of £2.27 each, but there was great views from the top, so in our opinion, well worth the couple of pounds. Right, so we've had a little look around the shops here in Stavanger. We are just opposite where we are now. There's a park with a lake on it. We're just going to head around there, and there's a nice coffee shop on the other side. So we're going to get some coffee, and then we are going to head into the old part of Stavanger, which is just opposite the ship. Over there.
So what have you ordered, Pete?
A canal, something like that, cinnamon bun. And a latte.
Looks nice.
After our cinnamon bun and coffee pit stop, which is a must if you're visiting Norway, the cinnamon buns are amazing, we headed back into town where we enjoyed some street art and some local shops, including a goat in a spa. Situated right next to the cruise ship is the Old Town. Here you will find stunning cobblestone lanes with beautiful white wooden houses showcasing the 18th and 19th century architectural heritage. This is predominantly residential, so be mindful and respectful when walking around. After walking around the town for a few hours, we got back on the ship just in time for a late lunch at Coral before it closed. We then popped up to the crow's nest to relax, grab a drink and play a few games. We may not have done any excursions in Stavanger on this cruise, but there is plenty on offer that you could take part in. Previously we hiked up to Pulpit Rock, which is one of Norway's most famous hikes and destinations. The excursion takes you on a coach trip to a starting point of the hike. We were then given an allocated amount of time to reach Pulpit Rock, with the advice to turn around at half time even if you hadn't reached the top, which put the pressure on. It was a challenging hike but well worth it for the stunning views over the fjords. Alternatively, you may choose to see Pulpit Rock from the bottom on a much more leisurely trip. The Pulpit Rock and Lysefjord cruise is a great excursion and we would thoroughly recommend. You leave the port of Stavanger and sail through the Lysefjord on a guided trip until you reach the bottom of Pulpit Rock and then head back. This is a great way to see the fjords up close, including waterfalls, mountains and maybe even some wildlife. On our excursion, we even stopped along the way for traditional Norwegian waffles and coffee, which were great. Other options in Stavanger include a number of museums which are worth a visit. Some offer entry into multiple museums in the cost of the ticket, so bear that in mind. The Petroleum Museum exceeded our expectations and we thoroughly enjoyed it, and we would definitely recommend that one. One highlight in Stavanger, and something to remember, is that the Stavanger Gospel Choir are usually on board performing in the Grand Atrium in the late afternoon before departure. After a great day in Stavanger, we were on deck for the sailaway, waving goodbye to the locals as we sailed past. After a visit back to the cabin for a refresh and change, we went back to the Olive Grove for dinner. We had an amazing meal, including the Mediterranean trio for starters, followed by a pizza and lasagna. We even pushed a boat out and paid the extra £1 for chips, which we still find odd that there's an additional charge for. We then went to the Headliners Theatre to watch Greatest Days, the Take That musical. It's a great show which we're not allowed to film, so make sure you go and see it on board. You can book the show in advance before your cruise, so make sure you do. The journey into Olden along the fjord is one of the most breathtaking sailings and well worth an early wake up. We enter the fjords in the early hours, so you will wake up to stunning views straight away. The mountainous landscape changes around every curve of the fjord, leaving new sights along the way. So our advice is to get up early, grab a coffee, sit back and watch the views go by, or head down to breakfast and enjoy your meal looking out over the stunning fjords, before heading onto deck to take in the views. If you're not an early riser, don't panic, you can capture the beautiful views on the journey out of Olden. Hi everyone, it's our second port day and we are in Olden.
Yep, today we're going up to the Leon Skylift. Fingers crossed we'll be able to see up there. It's a little bit cloudy at the moment, so
Yes.
fingers crossed we'll be able to see it.
Hopefully we'll see the ship, so we'll take you with us. We booked the Skylift through P&O as a shore experience, however you can book it independently. Our advice is to get to the Skylift as early as possible to avoid long queues. We did, and luckily only waited about 15 minutes to get on the Skylift. Lowen Skylift opened in May 2017, climbing 1,011 metres to the top of Mount Hoven. It is one of the steepest in the world and takes 5 to 7 minutes to get to the top, with each gondola carrying 35 people. The weather can be really unpredictable at the top of the mountain. 1 minute we had no visibility of the fjords below as the clouds rolled in, but 5 minutes later it was all clear. On a clear day you have stunning views of the Nordfjord, surrounding mountains and even glaciers. During our visit, snow was still on the ground and we could pick up a snowball and walk on the snow, which was great fun. There is a restaurant at the top and a shop selling souvenirs and coffees to enjoy whilst you're up there. And of course we had to have a coffee and a cinnamon bun, but be mindful these can be quite pricey. Like I said earlier, the key is to get here nice and early. As you can see, the queue can get really long. After our time up the mountain, our weather app told us that rain was coming. After a quick look around the souvenir shops, we got back on the ship and filmed our inside cabin tour. Make sure you check out that video as well. However, Olden has much more to offer in the town and with other excursions further afield. From a previous cruise we had a walk around the town, which is small but beautiful. One of the highlights of the town itself is the Olden Old Church. It's beautifully crafted old wooden church built in 1759, replacing an even older church on the site dating back to the 14th century. It is still used for special occasions to this day.
Velkommen til Norge!
Another hugely popular excursion is the Briksdal Glacier. We've previously done this with the troll cars included, which drop you close to the glacier. There's still a short walk from the drop-off point to the glacier, which may be unsuitable for some visitors with mobility issues. Another place we have visited on a cruise excursion with Royal Caribbean was the Gjendal Glacier. This one was less touristy with no facilities and a rough terrain whilst walking closer to the glacier, so just be mindful of that. Back on board, and we cannot vlog about Olden without talking about the sailaway, as this is probably what you've heard the most about. As we sail away, the locals play music through loudspeakers, including classics like We Are Sailing and Time to Say Goodbye. If the weather is good, a lot of locals usually wave you off from their houses on the hills, waving large flags, honking their car horns and waving you goodbye. The atmosphere on board is great, and although it was raining on this trip, it didn't stop everyone getting on deck and joining in the goodbye send-off. After being on the ship for 4 days, we thought it was time to try the main dining room for dinner. This is testament to how many dining options there are on board the ship. With lasagna on the menu, Dom decided that tonight was the night to head to Coral Restaurant. After a great meal, it was time to be entertained. First up, we headed to the Headliners Theatre to see Britain's Got Talent contestant Mandy Moodin performing magic. We then headed up to the Sky Dome for the newly added Shh by Nicole Scherzinger. To be honest, we didn't really get it. The show elements were really good, the performers were exceptional on this cruise, but you didn't know when they would be on the stage. It was all a bit of waiting around. We think the idea is that it's a bit of a nightclub between performances, but it didn't really work. However, the performers were very talented and the best we've seen on board, so that's not to say they were bad, we just don't think the concept really worked. Before we headed out for the day, we seized upon the opportunity to film our ship tour whilst the ship was nice and quiet. For the full Iona ship tour, head over to our channel.
Good morning.
We are in Alesund, which is our port day 3, and we've got no excursions planned today, so we're going to go and have a mooch around the town, look at some shops and things like that. So let's go.
Alesund is a city known for its Art Nouveau architecture, which was developed into the town after a fire destroyed most of the town centre in 1904. It is also located on the entrance of the Fjord, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Fjord is truly stunning and well worth a visit if you get the opportunity.
So we've just had the most amazing Danish, and I had a cake in this cafe behind us, which is Martin Valderhelg, something like that. But it was really, really nice. We'll do the what 3 words on the video.
This time around we decided not to climb the 418 steps up to the Axler viewpoint, but this is something we would recommend if you are able to. The views from the top are beautiful, where you can see your ship docked up with views over the city and surrounding area. In 2023 we were lucky enough to be in port for Norway's National Day on May 17th, where they had parades and celebrations throughout the city. However, be mindful if you are cruising during this time, as most shops and businesses will be closed. However, it's a great experience. After spending the day exploring, we found ourselves taking it easy at the Sunset Bar, drinking cocktails and watching the world go by. However, we were not the only cruise ship in port this day, as we were joined by the Aida Nova. She's part of the Carnival's excellent class of cruise ships, the same as Iona and Avia. She was first out of port that day and even gave us a traditional wave from the bridge. A short while later it was our time to depart Alesund. We headed to deck 8 to watch the beautiful scenery as we sailed away. As you can see, the weather was starting to turn, with the winds picking up and the water looking a bit more choppy. For the third time this cruise, we headed back to the olive grove. We promise you there is more places to eat, but we do love it. The mushroom ravioli is a must try. After dinner we headed back to the cabin to get an early night ready for our final port, Haugesund, the next day.
Well, good morning everybody.
Morning, and we've had an update. We are not going into Alesund. It's too windy.
As you can see, the weather conditions are not great at this moment in time, so it's deemed unsafe. So the captain has made the decision to make a slow route back to Southampton. We're going to drop our pilot off, Norwegian pilot off, and then
Day at sea.
Yeah, an extra day at sea.
We weren't going to let this spoil our day, so first stop was breakfast in the Pearl restaurant before spending some time in the Crow's Nest and grabbing some lunch. Our afternoon was spent enjoying the thermal suites in the Oasis Spa. The thermal suites are an additional charge, but worth it if you are in need of a relaxing time. Access is for a 2-hour slot with spaces limited to 12 guests at a time. It can book up early, so make sure you book as soon as you get on board. That evening we saw a show in the Headliners Theatre. We have been to Haugesund on a previous cruise, so here is a quick look at what Haugesund has to offer. Due to weather conditions on previous cruises, we have only managed to dock in Haugesund once. This was during their national holiday, so a lot of places were shut. However, we can see that during any other time, the town would be more bustling. When we were cancelled from Haugesund previously, we were lucky enough to dock in Bergen instead. If you find yourself docking in Bergen unexpectedly, then don't panic. This port is one of our favourites we have ever visited. The first thing we recommend is heading up to the Floyen funicular and meeting the goats. The views are great from this viewpoint. You should also make sure you visit Bryggen in the Old Town and Baker Brunn. This is a small bakery, but there is plenty of outside seating for those sunny days. The food and drinks are great and well worth a visit. Bryggen itself is a UNESCO World Heritage Site comprising of old wooden structures that was first established in 1070, but today comprises of stacked structures with narrow lanes filled with local shops selling their produce. Back on board and we head into our last day at sea and thought we would try something different and give the Keel and Cow a try for breakfast. There is an additional charge for breakfast here and in our opinion we probably wouldn't go back. The breakfast in the main dining room was just as good, if not better, and is included in the cruise fare, but we thought it was worth a try in the name of research. For the rest of the day we relaxed on board and to be honest didn't blog until the afternoon where we headed to the Headliners Theatre for Deal or No Deal. This is a new game show on board where the audience can play along by purchasing a game card beforehand at the casino. One lucky member of the audience was able to play on stage just like the real show.
Yay! Well done, Neil. Well done. Oh, that was good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Before you go, there's more money.
As it was the last night, we joined the virtual queue for the Keel and Cow for the best steaks at sea, whilst we had a few drinks in the cabin. We were then back in the Headliners Theatre to watch the show digital. We have seen this before, however this cast was spectacular, making the show so much better. When we came out of the show, we were greeted by an amazing sunset as we were sailing past Dover. Loads of people were out taking photos and enjoying the view. It was the perfect way to end the final night of another brilliant cruise on board P&O's Iona. Words cannot describe what we were seeing, and would never imagine that you would see the Northern Lights in the English Channel. With no light pollution, it was an amazing experience and we were so lucky. So disembarkation, there's two options for you to do. So you can either walk your cases off yourself, and for us today that's available from 7:30 in the morning, or you can have the cabin stewards and crew get your bags off of the ship and they'll be into the main hall in the terminal. So if you want to do that option, you have to leave your bags the night before, and they'll give you times as to when your time slot is to get off the ship. And as if by magic, we're back in Southampton.
It's a shame.
Oh, thanks for watching the video. Please give us a like and a share. We really do appreciate it. And remember to subscribe. And we've got some other videos in this series, so please give them a watch too.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
We've got big sport. It's because I've been eating junk.